So we're going to start things off in this video by assembling the coilovers and getting them mock installed up on the truck. So in this clip I'm working on modifying my Watts link bars. I shortened them by about 3/4 inch on one side and about an inch on the other, and that is allowing my Watts link wishbone to stand more vertical. So it's just a nicer looking install to match the cleanliness of the rest of the install. And it doesn't really affect functionality, but it does look a lot nicer when the bars are parallel and the Watts link wishbone is standing vertical. Alright, we are making progress. I got my spare tire carrier bolted down. Everything's sitting happy there. I slide under here. I've got my Watts link bolted down. Everything's torqued down. Axle's well beyond what full droop's going to be. Need to work on clearancing my 4-link bracket. So that's my next step is right in here. I had when the coilover, that bottom plate of the coilover sits basically touching here, so I'm gonna clearance that with the grinder, make some space there so we don't have any weird noises or don't destroy the coilovers. So that's why I've got the axle dropped way more than it should be, so I can get in here and work. So we'll do that. Got the drive shaft bolted back on earlier. I've got fluid in it now, so I'm getting really close to getting the bed back on, so this is exciting. In this clip, I reworked my coilovers. I wasn't happy with the instructions and wasn't confident in how I was able to get the top nut tightened out through reaching through the spring. So I put spring compressor on and was able to compress the spring enough where I could get the perch to slide down and gain access to the top nut. All right, so I kind of figured that might happen. Not really that big of a deal, but this bottom bed cross member is hitting on my spare tire carrier angle iron right here where my white is. So I'm gonna come in here and clearance that out with the angle grinder real quick, and then we'll set the bed back down. Everything else looked pretty nice though overall. Happy with the way everything's fitting, and once I get the bed back down, I'll go through it and show you where we're at on how everything's sitting. bed is back on, not bolted down. Still got a ways to go, but I'll show you where we're clearanced out here. So not sitting much. Sitting much happier now. Probably could have gone a tad bit more, but it's down. I'm happy with it. We're actually sitting on the frame now, so we're good with that. Coming over here, my shock tower is coilover tower is just barely touching the bedside there. I think it probably will be okay. I may just hit it with a grinder real quick just to be a little more confident with it. Other than that, we're looking really good. So I'd pre-measured that guy to make sure I could go above the frame here and not run into the bed sides. Obviously I didn't really account for that little lip there, but overall happy with how everything's turned out. So I guess I'll hit that real quick with the grinder and then get started on bolting it down and putting the battery cable back in the floor and all that. Stay tuned. Now that I have the bed back on, I have so much more room for activities. All right, whatever. Anyways, I was gonna show you my sneak peek of my new intake. Painted race red, match my intake, or match my coil covers. So that'll be going on here as soon as I get the back end back together.